75 degrees, a bit overcast, and the lights on, but a very pleasant day in downtown Ann Arbor. Welcome, everyone. Zach Linfield with you alongside Jake Singer. So glad to have you along as we get you ready for game two of this three-game weekend series between Michigan and Northwestern right here on WCBN Sports. A day after a big series opening win against a team that Michigan needs to take care of, the Wolverines look to take the series against the visitors from Evanston, Illinois in this three-game set. Noah Renard gets the ball for Michigan today against Sam Garwal for the Wildcats. Yesterday, a great start for the Maize and Blue in a series that is must-have for a team in the chase for a spot in that 8-team Big Ten tournament at the end of May. Michigan came out swinging early against Michael Farinelli and held off a late attack from Northwestern to take game one, Jake.
Yeah, well, the Wolverines' offense was attacking on all cylinders yesterday. Michigan jumped out to an early lead in the first inning, courtesy of a leadoff double from Cody Jeffress. Jimmy Obertop laced a two-out single to score Jeffress to give Michigan a 1-0 lead. They added 3 more runs in the second with a Ted Burton double, and 2 more runs in the third with a Mitch Voigt double to go up 6-0. Northwestern finally retaliated with a 2-run home run in the fourth inning, courtesy of Steven Hrustich, but Ted Burton hit a long ball of his own immediately after. Northwestern was able to score a couple more runs, but the Wolverines countered every punch with their own and to win 12-5. On the pitching side of things, Michigan ace Connor Halloran pitched 4 scoreless innings until the home run, but he still finished with 7 2/3 innings pitched, 9 strikeouts, and 5 earned runs. Michael Farinelli, who took the loss yesterday, finished with 3 innings pitched, 7 hits, 6 earned runs, and 2 strikeouts.
As Jim Foster and Michigan manager Tracy Smith have exchanged lineup cards at home plate, let's get to our keys of the game for a Michigan victory this afternoon.
Definitely. Well, for Michigan today, their key of the game is just to follow up on their offensive performance from yesterday. The Wolverines put up 12 runs from start to finish and forced Northwestern to use 4 pitchers in their bullpen. Garwal's on the mound today for Northwestern, who was even more trouble with consistency and command than yesterday at Farinelli. If the Wolverines can get an early lead and work counts, Garwal's day could be short, and Northwestern does not have a lot of depth in their bullpen. For Northwestern, they just have to force Renard to make some mistakes. Renard is not a consistent every single day starter. He has had some really good outings, but also has some outings that he was a little inconsistent in himself. And Renard, despite being decent, the Michigan bullpen has not really been great this year. It actually has been a thorn in their side. If Northwestern can get to the Wolverines bullpen early today, they can really have a lot of chances to score some runs and get early out here against the Wolverines.
Remember, Michigan only had to use 2 bullpen arms last weekend in the series in Minneapolis against Minnesota. Northwestern enters this Saturday matchup with an overall record of 8-36, with a 3-16 mark in conference play that puts them in dead last place in the Big Ten. Meanwhile, Michigan finds themselves at 24-22, 11-8 record in conference play, which puts them in a two-way tie for 5th place with Nebraska after Purdue's loss to Indiana in Bloomington last night in that weekend rivalry series between Hoosiers and Boilermakers. Let's meet our starting lineups this afternoon for the second game of the series. First floor manager Jim Foster and the Northwestern Wildcats. Leading off and at second, Tony Livermore. Batting second, the third baseman, Evan Minarvik. Batting third, the designated hitter, Alex Kolarko. Batting cleanup, the right fielder, Steven Hrustich, who had a 2-hit day in game one. Batting fifth, the first baseman, Bennett Markinson. Batting sixth and in left, Kevin Ferrer. Batting seventh in center field, Griffin Arnone. Batting eighth and putting the fingers down this afternoon, Cooper Ford. Batting ninth and rounding things out for the Wildcats, shortstop, Owen McElfatrick. Taking the slab for Northwestern in the bottom of the first inning, Sam Garwal. Here's how Tracy Smith put together his lineup for game two. Leading off, shortstop, Cody Jeffress. Batting second, second baseman, Ted Burton. Batting third and doing the DHing today, Jimmy Obertop. He flipped spots with the fourth batter today, right fielder, Joey Velasquez. Batting fifth in left field, a hot bat right now, Tito Flores. Batting sixth, the first baseman, Jack Vandermortel. Batting seventh and at the hot corner once again, freshman Mitch Voigt. Batting eighth behind the plate this afternoon, Gabe Sotrace. In the 9-hole for the Wolverines, freshman center fielder Greg Pace Jr. once again in the lineup for Jonathan Kim. The Michigan starter will be a relatively new name to the weekend rotation, Noah Renard. As the Michigan defense watches that hype video on the scoreboard in right field here at Ray Fisher Stadium, we're about to see what this Michigan defense can put together before taking the plate for the first time and Michigan will be in their white uniforms this afternoon. Northwestern with a change. They will be in their grays rather than the purple uniforms a day ago with the purple hats. Michigan in their traditional navy caps. That maize block M right on the front. It's a beautiful day for baseball, no?
It's a beautiful day indeed. It's a little cool out here. We've got some clouds, but the rain has held off today. They know they pushed the game up yesterday for fear of rain. It did trickle a little bit down, so very lucky that we don't have rain today and we can see some great baseball here in front of us.
It's race for the Big Ten tournament. It is heating up. IU and Maryland tied at 13 and 6 atop the Big Ten standings. Rutgers and Iowa 12 and 7, 11 and 7, and the two-way tie for fifth between the Cornhuskers and Wolverines at 11 and 8. Purdue lost last night to Indiana, 10 and 9. MSU at 10 and 9. Illinois an even 11 and 11, even record. But then Ohio State, Penn State, Northwestern, and also at the bottom of the standings is Minnesota, who Michigan played last week, only took one of three. But Michigan kind of had the end of their schedule served to them on a silver platter to make this tournament. They had Minnesota, Northwestern, and then Ohio State, three of those bottom four teams to round out their season, which certainly helps Michigan here in the long run.
As we saw with last year, the Wolverines had an up and down season altogether, and it took the end of the last season as well as the Big Ten tournament to make to the NCAA tournament. So you're completely right with this serving up on a platter. They have to beat these teams that are beatable. If they're able to do that, they'll get a higher seed. If they get the higher seed, they can make the Big Ten tournament and really have a good chance at making another Big Ten championship and getting themselves back into Omaha possibly.
As the Michigan defense continues to get warmed up, we get ready to see the 24-year-old native of Santa Rosa, California, Noah Renard, 6-3 record to go along with a 4.53 ERA and an opposing batting average of 2.23.
Yeah, Noah Renard has a fastball, changeup, slider mixture that you'll see on the mound today. He actually had a pretty good start last time against Minnesota last weekend with 7 1/3 innings pitched, 3 hits, 2 earned runs, 5 strikeouts. So a very nice day for him. Let's see if he can follow that up. The Wolverines obviously would love their starters to go as long as possible to avoid going into that bullpen, and especially with Northwestern today only having 2 lefty batters in this lineup. The righty-righty matchup is really going to be favorable for Renard for majority of the day today.
Tony Livermore steps into the box on the left side. Noah Renard into the glove, and we are underway from Ray Fisher Stadium here in Ann Arbor. Zach Linfield and Jake Singer with you. So glad to have you along. As Renard missed with ball one below the strike zone today. Renard into his motion. Second pitch is a fastball that catches the outside part of the plate, 1-1. Renard primarily used as a relief guy through his career at Michigan, makes his 10th career start and 7th of 2023 this afternoon against a Northwestern lineup that didn't have much success against Connor O'Halloran. Livermore lines one towards second on one hop. Burton in between the legs, throws to Vandermortel, one away here in the first. I think what will be big for Noah Renard this afternoon is getting into a groove. He's still trying to find his legs as a starting pitcher, but with Chase Allen out of the rotation, still trying to find out who is that solid Sunday guy. Seems like Noah Renard is becoming the Saturday fella for Michigan. A swing and a tip into the glove off the bat of Evan Manarvik, the Northwestern third baseman, batting .221, 11 RBIs and 1 homer.
Yeah, Renard isn't a high strikeout pitcher, so if he's able to force that weak contact, get a lot of ground balls, that will really help his day today.
His 0-1 just misses the outside corner. Michigan's defense from left to right in the outfield. Flores, Pace Jr., Velasquez. At the corners, third baseman Voigt, first baseman Vandermortel, Jeffress and Burton up the middle. Gabe Sotrace does the catching. There's a breaking ball, a slider from Noah Renard for strike 2. Count is 1 ball and 2 strikes. With Evan Manarvik, the senior third baseman, playing in his 26th game of the season, making his 24th start. The 1-2 from Renard, right down Broadway for strike 3. He slowed it down and Manarvik buckled his knees. First strikeout for Renard. 2 up and 2 away for the big righty.
That was really good command there by Noah Renard. 2 straight sliders, both hitting the outside corner. Great work there by him. He has had some inconsistency this season being able to throw that slider. So the fact that he's able to throw back-to-back sliders and hitting that exact same spot he needs to really bodes well for his day today.
Connor O'Halloran struck out 9 yesterday, only 2 looking. It took him until the top of the 5th to get that first backwards K. Here's Alex Calarco looking at ball 1 outside. From the windup, Renard delivers a big wave and a miss. A fastball that clips the outside corner. Renard pretty consistent around that 88 to 90 mile an hour range. Slows down the changeup to around 82, 83. Here's his 1-1. Same exact spot. He likes that outside corner right now with that fastball.
Definitely. And Calarco went 1 for 4 yesterday with 2 strikeouts. Now to 1-2 count. He really needs to protect. Not doing a great job yesterday of doing that. Let's see if Renard goes high fastball or maybe an inside slider to try to get him away.
Into his motion, the 1-2. Swing and a miss. A 1-2-3, top 1. No score here in Ann Arbor. No Renard, a job well done. We will beat the Michigan starting lineup when we come back on WCBN Sports. The Wolverines are set to take the plate for the first time this afternoon after a shutout top of the first inning thrown by Noah Renard. Get another quick look at the Michigan starting lineup. Cody Jeffress, Ted Burton, Jimmy Obertop doing the DHing. Left-handed bat Joey Velasquez, Tito Flores, Jack Vanner Mortal, 7-8-9 of Mitch Voigt, Gabe Stotrace, and Greg Pace Jr. That Wolverine starting 9 gets set to face off against the 6'4" left-hander, a native of San Diego, California, Sam Garwal.
Yeah, Sam Garwal, 0-4 this season with a 6.28 ERA, 13 appearances, 6 starts, kind of like Noah Renard, started at the beginning of the season in the bullpen, has recently made the last 3 starts for the Northwestern Wildcats. He pitched 6.1 scoreless innings in his last start against Indiana with 7 strikeouts, but he gave up 6 earned runs on 7 hits in 5 innings to start before against Michigan State. So he has been a little inconsistent this season, at least recently. And with this Wolverines lineup that is righty heavy going up against the left-hander, let's see if the Wolverines can take advantage and follow up this offensive performance that we saw from yesterday.
Well, the batter and pitcher have one thing in common. They've spent some time in San Diego. Cody Jeffress takes fastball for strike 1, just above 90 from the left-handed Garwal. Of course, Cody Jeffress, the transfer from UC San Diego. Garwal attended Canyon Crest Academy out in California. Big swing and a miss, 0-2 quickly. Garwal's ERA, 6.28. Cody Jeffress taps the plate once into his stance. Garwal delivers. It's a bit of a slider, but it's got a hard cut to it.
Garwal also appears to be working very quickly. He's been his windup probably within 3 seconds of pitching.
1 ball, 2 strikes with Cody Jeffress. Takes a swing at it. A dribbler back up the middle. Tough play for Livermore. Off balance. Just in time. Got him by a step. Maybe less. Beautiful day at the plate yesterday for Jeffress. Went 4 for 5. Scored 2 runs. Knocked in 3.
One of those hits was the leadoff double that I mentioned at the top of the broadcast. I was able to score that first run. Nice work there by Jeffress, just trying to force some weak contact. You might see a few of those infield hits today, but good work there by the second baseman to get him out for at number 1.
Here's Ted Burton for Michigan. Takes a hack and fly ball deep right field. Arnold and Hrustic following it back. Track. Whoa, that ball's gone. 11th home run on the season for Ted Burton, back-to-back days with a solo blast.
Ted Burton wasted no time with that home run. First pitch, swinging 91-mile-an-hour fastball, and took that right into left center field. He had a home run yesterday. So following that performance up with a home run today, this is Ted Burton's time, and definitely the right time of the season to get hot if you're the Michigan Wolverines. Let's see if the Wolverines can add to this lead. Already up 1-0 here in the bottom of the first inning.
And with that, there's also a reset needed for Garwal. On the bump, here's Jimmy Obertop stepping in at 219. They'll take a fastball low in the zone for a called strike. A reminder, our umpires are Robert Lothian calling balls and strikes, Daniel Jimenez at first, Brent Weiss at second, Grady Smith is over at third. Deal one. Curveball low and in, just above the shoe tops of Jimmy Obertop, who wears white shoes today. Navy blue and gray gloves, batting from the right side, resting a DeMarini bat on his right shoulder. The pitch from Garwal catches the inside corner a bit high. Jimmy looks back to our home plate umpire, Lothian, and asks how high exactly that was. He says high enough for the strike zone. Here's the 1-2. Curveball outside corner, swinging and missing. Down goes Obertop. First strikeout for Sam Garwal.
And Garwal right there went 3 balls right on the inside part of Obertop and then finished with a changeup curveball mixture on the outer part of the plate. Really nice command there by Garwal to come back after giving up that home run to Ted Burton. Jimmy Obertop really just hasn't been able to find his groove yet at this season. We'll see if he's able to do that a little bit later on.
Left-handed batting, Joey Velasquez takes a curveball, ball one. Rides into that right-handed batter's box with that solo home run by Ted Burton. He's now got a career high at Michigan, 11 home runs. Previous high was 10. He was tied with that number from 2022 as Velasquez takes strike right down Broadway. Velasquez has been pretty good for Michigan as of late. 3-run home run on Sunday against Minnesota. Was in the starting lineup yesterday batting third. He takes fastball into the outside corner for a strike. Although he went 0 for 5 yesterday. Garwal's 1-2 on the way. Swung out and fouled to the left side, back towards Yost Ice Arena. The native of Columbus, Ohio. On 1-2, Garwal's delivery. Fastball up and out.
As I feel like we're obligated to say that Joey Velasquez is a two-sport athlete at this school, both playing football and baseball, as everyone hopefully knows by this point.
Special teams ace for Jim Harbaugh. And the 2-2. That one's driven in the left field. Will it get over the brick wall and left? It will not. Off the wall, one hopper. Joey Velasquez digs towards second and will slide in with a 2-out double here in the bottom of the first inning.
Yeah, that left field wall, 312, obviously with the really high wall there. So just balance off the top part of the wall. And Joey Velasquez was able to come in with a double. Really nice work going inside out and going oppo, going up against the lefty. And the Wolverines have another running and scoring position with just 2 outs here with Tito Flores up to bat.
He has got a really powerful swing, doesn't he?
Oh, he definitely does. Anytime he makes contact.
See him pull it towards right field, but that time the power to the opposite field showed. Here's Tito Flores. First pitch to him. Fastball way high. Cooper Ford does the catching for Northwestern for a second straight day. Tito waits on the 1-0. Defense playing straight up on him. He'll drive this one into right field. Slicing towards foul territory over is Hrustic, and it will land in the Northwestern bullpen.
Tito Flores, obviously not having the exact season he would want to be having, but at least recently he has been picking it up a little bit more consistently. He's gotten his average up to 259. He has 5 home runs and 22 RBIs. He does have the 19 strikeouts, though, so with the 1-1 count here, a lefty-righty matchup with running in scoring position, let's see if he can poke one through, maybe for extra bases, but at least scoring 1 run and increasing this lead.
4-hit day yesterday. He entered batting 238. The pitch from Garwal. It's a called strike, low and in. And Tito will reset, find his way outside of the right-handed batter's box, take a big deep breath, readjust his hands on his bat, and step back in. But he started yesterday at 238. His average now 259. Runner on the move. Flores takes a ball low. Throw from Ford, not in time. Joey Velasquez swipes the bag. Well, he was over until then. He's now 1 for 3.
Definitely, and Ford just lost the grip there of that ball. He double clutched or even triple clutched there, so not enough time to get Velasquez out. And really risky stolen base attempt there by Joey Velasquez, but it works out for the Wolverines. And now Tito Flores, if he makes one to the outfield, will score Velasquez easily.
2-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. There's a changeup up high in the left-handed Garwal. Gets Flores swinging. A solo home run for Ted Burton puts Michigan on the board in the bottom of this first inning. 1-0 Wolverines when we return on your home for Michigan baseball. The meat of the order to lead off the top of the second inning for Jim Foster and Northwestern. 4, 5, and 6. Rustich, Markinson, and Ferrer. Rustich had probably the best day at the plate yesterday for a Wildcat. He singled in the second, then stole a bag. 2-run home run in the fourth. A deep line out to center field and a sharp ground ball to short to end his day. 2 for 4. Renard fires in a slider for strike one. Lead off the top of the second.
Renard only throwing 11 pitches there in that first inning also is something to look out for. If he wants to go long in this game, that's definitely the kind of work he needs to be putting in.
This ball's driven in the left field on a frozen rope. Back goes Flores. You'll watch it bounce over his head. One bounce off the wall. Hrustich heading towards second. He will be in there with a sliding double to open up the second inning. That ball was on a line right off the bat. He cracked it, and Flores just put his head down and started running.
You were saying Hrustich hit the home run yesterday, so he's definitely capable of hitting that long ball. Went 2 for 4 yesterday with 2 RBIs, and he scored that 1 run on the home run. Really great job by him to get the leadoff man on. Definitely now in score position also with Markinson coming up, batting 289 this season, possibly trying to drive in the run and more and tying up this ball game.
He squares to bunt immediately. Corners in, middle infielder's back, and he pulls back on a fastball up high. For those who remember yesterday, Hrustich in the second inning against Connor O'Halloran drove a ball into deep right field. It bounced off the top of the wall and came back into play. It was only a single. There's a strike from Noah Renard on the inside corner. Count is even at 1-1. I think it even surprised Velasquez in right field. Markinson squares to bunt again. He squared on the first pitch, but not the second. He gets one down. It will roll down the third base line and just skid foul. They're trying to get Hrustich over to third base. And that would bring Kevin Ferrer to the plate. He entered the game last night in the 7th. Bounced into a fielder's choice to end the inning. Top of the 2nd inning from Ann Arbor. Michigan 1-0. A Ted Burton solo home run. 1-2. Swung on and chopped left side. Tough play for Voigt. He will not be able to make it. Runners on the corners. Kind of in no man's land. If Michigan was still playing in on the corners, likely would have been able to make that play. But since there was 2 strikes, Markinson takes advantage of that. And with nobody out, runners on first and third for Ferrer.
That was even probably a better hit than a bunt would have done because you got the runner all the way over to third base and you're able to get first base yourself. So now runner on corners for Ferrer with no outs. Really dangerous position if you're the Michigan Wolverines and really a prime position if you're the Northwestern Wildcats trying to take advantage here.
First pitch swinging. Ferrer fouls it right back to the backstop, and Gabe Sotrace gloves it on its way back. Quick 0-1. In the first inning, Renard struck out 2. Backwards K to Minarvik. A swinging strikeout to Alex Kolarko. 252 average for Ferrer. The pitch from Renard, slider outside. Fastball, slider, changeup. Saw a good mix of 2 pitches yesterday from Connor O'Halloran. Pretty much just fastball, slider from the southpaw. 1-1. This ball's lifted into right field. This is trouble. Back goes Velasquez at the track, at the wall. He will make the catch. Hrustic will scamper in the score. We are tied in top 2. Ferrer gets the job done, but Noah Renard will trade an out. So the runner will remain on first, but the double play in order now for Michigan.
Yeah, good work there by Ferrer, knowing his job. He took it actually really deep there to the right field wall. Lucky it didn't go out if you're the Michigan Wolverines, but you're completely right. Renard will trade an out for a run there. Nothing you can do. 1-1 game still with only 1 out, and you can probably turn the double play here if you're able to get Arnon, apologies, to ground one.
First pitch to him is a changeup that misses up and out. RBI number 13 for Ferrer. Stephen Hrustic continues to have a good series here in Ann Arbor. Pitch from Renard, roped down the right field line. Does it stay fair? It will not. Just foul a couple inches down the right field line. And remember, here at Ray Fisher Stadium, there was not much space between the foul line and the wall down the right and left field lines. I mean, what would you say, Jake? About 3-4 steps, but about 7 feet maybe?
It is definitely a dangerous position to be put in if you're the outfielder, number one. But number two, if that ball is able to land, it can really have a lot of different ways of bouncing off those walls and trying to go for extra bases.
Renard misses with the breaking ball, 2-1. We see a lot of ground rule doubles here.
That is for sure.
Lefties will have quite a few ground rule doubles down the right field line. Righties down the left field line. Fastball just outside. Half a ball's width off for our home plate umpire, Robert Lothian. First time, though, that Renard has fallen behind in a count with 3 balls. 3-1. Runner on first base in a 1-1 tie. He'll check on the runner at first. Markinson's back in safely after his single. Stephen Hrustic doubled to lead off this inning.
Renari with a 3-1 count. Just need to throw a strike in there. He can't get too carried away as he throws in the outside corner, ball 4. Now runners on first and second base and only 1 out. You're giving Northwestern a really big opportunity here to take more advantage of their offensive power and score more runs. Renard has done this at times this season. When he starts giving up a few runs, he goes down a little bit of a tricky path, and he just needs to find his command once again. He was perfect in the first inning. So now runners on first and second. He's giving up 1 run in this inning. He really needs to find himself and not waver too much because he is a starting pitcher and not a reliever in this situation.
Here's the catcher, Cooper Ford. First pitch to him, breaking ball, swung straight through on a 78-mile-an-hour pitch. Runners on first and second. We did not see a Michigan walk, a Michigan pitcher allow one, until the top of the 9th inning. And yesterday afternoon's ball game, a 12-5 Michigan win. Second pitch forward, Q shots one down the right field line. It's foul. And there you go, it's 0-2. Lex himself, he took a big deep breath after walking Arnone and got back up to the hill and has thrown 2 consecutive strikes. I'm not sure that last pitch would have been a strike, but Ford reached out over the plate and just tapped it foul. See if he can roll one on 0-2. Instead, a ball lifted down the left field line, way out of play.
I can tell you from previous experience, as I was trying to mention before, it's a really big mental switch you have to make going from a relief pitcher to a starting pitcher. If you give a run as a relief pitcher, that could be deciding of the game, and you really aren't pitching that long. So 1 run is a big deal. But as a starting pitcher, giving 1 or 2 runs is okay because of the entire length of the game to get that run back.
The 0-2 swung on and fouled off the glove of Gabe Sotrace. Bernard so close to having his 3rd punch out. And out number 2 of this second inning, 1-1 tie. A big offensive day yesterday for the Big Ten. Michigan scored 12. They won 12-5. Here's a pickoff move back towards second. Standing safely is Markinson. Michigan took game 1. Indiana won a football game, 26-11, over rival Purdue and Bloomington. 5-4 final, Rutgers over Illinois. The 0-2 from Bernard again. Bouncing ball towards the left side. Voigt to second. Relay to Burton. Over to first base. It's a double play. We'll bookmark the conversation on yesterday's Big Ten schedule for when we come back. Bernard Strands 2, 1-1 tie here in Ann Arbor on your home for Michigan baseball. We find ourselves in a 1-1 tie after 1.5 here in Ann Arbor. Steven Harustich led off the top of the second inning with a double. Bennett Markinson a single. And a sacrifice fly from Kevin Ferrer, a walk to Arnone, and then a 5-4-3 double play. Bernard gets Cooper Ford to ground into the double play. First baseman, Jack Vandermortel, 292, 21 RBIs, and 3 bombs on the year. Leads off for Tracy Smith's Michigan team. Sam Garwal, the left-hander from San Diego, California. His second inning of work for the Wildcats. First pitch to Vandermortel. There's a strike low and in. Fastball at 89. Vandermortel committed to Michigan out of high school in Carmel, Indiana, where he was a superstar for the Greyhounds. Found himself struggling his first 2 seasons at Michigan. Takes a fastball outside. The appeal down to first base, Daniel Jimenez says no, sir. He mentioned that he lost a lot of confidence by focusing too much on the final result of an at-bat. Through a lot of realization, Jack decided to transfer to Umpqua Community College, a big swing and a miss, to make it 1-2. Played all the way on the Pacific Coast in Roseburg, Oregon, wanted to focus solely on baseball with limited outside noise. Said that leaving Michigan was not an easy choice. Had to leave the relationships that he had forged here. The 1-2. Swing and a miss. Tipped it into the glove of Ford. A swinging strikeout in the second of the day for Garwal. But for Vandermortel at Umpqua, grinded out a phenomenal season, led the team in home runs, extra base hits, RBIs, walks, began to ignore the success and failure of the game, and learned to live with enjoying every moment of playing baseball. Credits his time in JUCO for the success he's had here at Michigan since returning. Here's Mitch Voigt taking ball one, low and in. Fun on both sides of the scorecard, Mitch Voigt. There's a swing and a miss, fastball outside corner. Michigan's been tipping the ball into the glove of Cooper Ford with quite a bit of frequency here in the first two innings. The count is 1-1 on the Michigan third baseman Voigt, who lifts one down the right field line. Should be playable for Markinson. Backpedals and makes a catch just in foul territory down the right field side. 2 up, 2 down. The catcher Gabe Sotrace. Graduate transfer from Michigan State, of all places, East Lansing, Michigan.
And Sotrace didn't really expect himself to be the starting catcher of the majority of the season, but with Obertop's surgery back in October, even with Obertop coming back now, he's found himself.
Single in the right center field. Rustich over. And we'll corral it on 2 bounces. A 2-out single for Gabe Sotrace. But you're right, Jimmy Obertop was supposed to be, well, the everyday catcher for Michigan, a lot like he's been the last couple of seasons. Casey Buckley filling in here and there behind the plate, but you expected Obertop to be in the lineup. He made his debut just a couple of weeks ago against Michigan State. Has not batted as well as I think he would have wanted to. Here's Greg Pace Jr. Pickoff move to first base. Sotrace back in safely.
And Greg Pace Jr., you can say the exact same thing for himself. He's probably not batting exactly where he'd want to be. He was actually the Big Ten Freshman of the Week back in April. Had a really stellar start to the season, but since has gone really cold, batting just 133 with 2 home runs and 6 RBIs, and he has 35 strikeouts, which leads the team. Definitely not what you want to see out of an everyday outfielder if you want to be that player for this team.
He took ball one on a fastball up and outside. The 1-0 pitch is a hefty swing and a miss.
When Greg Pace Jr. gets on, though, he actually can be really electric. He had a stolen base yesterday. He's very fast. He can run from first to home very, very quickly. The trick for him, though, is just being able to work these counts and getting on base consistently.
Garwal a step off and a throw to first. Again, Sotrace back in. But the frame for Greg Pace, 6'3", 185 pounds. You mentioned a freshman. Hometown of Southfield, Michigan. Sotrace on the move. The throw from Ford down to second. Nowhere close. That ball will bounce away from Livermore at second base. And the shortstop, McOlpatrick, there to back him up. Always back up your fellow infielders. So Gabe Sotrace swipes a bag. Greg Pace Jr.'s got a chance for his 7th RBI of the campaign. Sotrace now 4 of 6 in the stolen base category this year. Cody Jeffress waits on deck. 1 ball and 2 strikes with Greg Pace. The pitch. I think that got the bottom of the bat. It did. Just knocked off the knob and ricocheted back towards the Northwestern dugout. That's the second time this has happened in this series with Michigan and Northwestern. We currently sit in a 1-1 tie. Lights on at Ray Fisher Stadium in Ann Arbor. 2 o'clock start time today. The 1-2. Swing and a miss. Down goes Pace. Strong stuff from Sam Garwal. outside of the solo home run to Ted Burton. 1-1, Michigan, Northwestern. We head to the third inning here in Ann Arbor on your home for Michigan baseball. Final homestand of the season for Michigan. Game 2 of 4. The Wolverines 3 with the Wildcats of Northwestern. And 1 with Xavier on Tuesday. Cool opportunity for the Wildcats on Tuesday. They'll go to Wrigley Field to play against Notre Dame. 1-1 tie in the top of the third inning. Noah Renard to pitch for Michigan. First pitch in there for a strike to Owen McElpatrick, the only Wildcat yet to bat today. 2 hits for Northwestern, 1 run. Renard's second pitch slider bouncing to Sotrace. A ball and a strike. 200 average, 3 home runs, 15 RBIs. Big swing and a miss. The count is 1-2. Renard slowed down that fastball just a touch, trying to find that corner. He hit quite a bit in the first inning. He was living on the outside corner. Here's the 1-2. Popped into center field. No problem for Greg Pace Jr. Struck out to end the bottom of the second inning, makes the catch. He lays it back in. 1 up and 1 down. Lineup card flips over. Tony Livermore.
You're seeing Robert Lothian, the home plate umpire, really calling the inside corner and outside corner strikes today. Probably has a wider strike zone than most umpires I've seen this season. So that is what you're really going to be seeing out of Sam Garwal, which we have been seeing out of him, and Noah Renard has been catching on to that as well. So we see a strike on the inside corner for strike number 1.
He went to the slider. Just slithered right through the back door to the left-handed bat of Livermore. Renard in the windup, working first base side of the rubber. Fires a fastball low. Count all evened up at 1 apiece. Target set up from Sotrace, the 1-1. This one's lined in the deep right field. Back goes Velasquez, and he will glove it. The left-hander will throw it back in. It was cracked off the bat, and it kind of just stopped in midair.
Yeah, Livermore got the end of the bat there on that hit. So despite having the exit velocity really where he needed it to be on the 81-mile-an-hour changeup, it just died right when you got to Joey Velasquez, and that's why you didn't see that home run over the 320-foot right field wall.
And I'll tell you what, Joey Velasquez at 6'2", 230, he can move, can he? There's a slider for a strike to Manarvik.
Definitely, he has a lot of speed out there.
Is he a dual sport athlete or something?
I think he might be.
3-0-1. Another swing and a miss. A beautiful slider for Noah Renard, and I think he's found that pitch here in the third inning. Score is 1-1. Right back to work out of the windup. The 0-2 outside slider again. He pulled it that time. Opened up that front shoulder, let it rip.
And he got
outside.
And he got Manarvik on the slider swinging, slider looking last time around.
The 1-2. There it is. Slider into the outside corner. Does it again. Strikeout number 3 for Noah Renard. 1-2-3, top of the third. We'll see Michigan again when we come back on your home for Michigan baseball. One-one tie at Ray Fisher Stadium in Ann Arbor. Game 2 of a 3-game series between Michigan and Northwestern. I'll tell you what, though, Jake, Sam Garwal has been impressive outside of the solo home run allowed to Ted Burton.
He's been recognizing where the strike zone is and has been really commanding his pitches today. He's been going on the inside and outside corners. He's going low, high. He's been really mixing up those pitches too and keeping the Wolverine offense guessing. Let's see if he can do that against the lefty Cody Jeffress here, who almost had an infield single his first time up.
Bounced out to the second baseman. First pitch to him, right back to him. Waiting on it, the second baseman Livermore. This one a bit easier. One pitch, one out for Sam Garwal in this Northwestern defense.
And if you're Sam Garwal, that is a perfect out right there. One pitch, one out. You're only at 34 pitches now through 2 1/3 innings pitched, so he's really doing well on pace compared to his last 2 starts. Ted Burton, though, who hit that home run in the first inning, let's see if he pitches him a little bit differently than he would be attacking Cody Jeffress.
Ted Burton is the reason Michigan had a 1-0 lead after bottom 1. He takes fastball inside, 1-0. Garwal works the third base side of the rubber, bent over at the waist, keeps that glove on his right hand in front of his face and comes together. Second pitch bounces into the catcher, Ford, and it's 2-0.
Garwal's trying to pitch away from Ted Burton right now. Threw him a low curveball, outside changeup. Let's see if he goes back in the strike zone finally.
The 2-0, that's way inside. Burton does a little shuffle to get out of the way. A favorable count now for number 3 in white. The 3-0 coming from Garwal. Takes all the way, 3-1. And Garwal just wanted to see one across the plate there. Kind of streamed the fastball, but I'm pretty sure the red light was on for Ted. Here's the 3-1. Inside corner there. The ball skipped away from the catcher, Ford. And the count is full. I don't know.
That was a little inside from my eyes, but as we've been saying, Lothian, the home plate umpire, has really been calling that pitch. Might go back there one more time.
Here's the payoff. He goes across the plate. Fly ball right center field. Pretty shallow. Harustich coming on. Will drift into center field and make the catch. 2 outs under the belt of Sam Garwal here at the bottom of the third inning, giving way to Jimmy Overtop for Michigan.
Good work there by Sam Garwal, battling all the way back from a 3-0 count, being able to get Ted Burton just to fly out to shallow right field. Now with Jimmy Obertup at the plate, 0 for 1 with a 212 batting average. Let's see if he attacks him or tries to bounce around him as well.
Pitch from Garwal. Inside, slider, just across the shoelaces. I'll tell you what, ever since the return of Jimmy Overtop, haven't seen too much of Joe Longo, but he did a great job filling in for Jimmy after his surgery, which kept him out for the majority of the season. Fastball up high, 2-0.
That's a really great point. They have been playing Casey Buckley a little bit more coming out in the pinch hit situations, but Joe Longo, who was the team's DH for most of the season, really hasn't seen much time as of late.
2-0 pitch to Obertop. Across the plate, a little low, called for a strike. Casey Buckley entered in the bottom of the 7th inning last night. At one point, it was an 8-5 ball game after Michigan jumped out to a big lead. 2 RBI double off the bench. 2-1, fastball high. Good count for Obertop. No runners aboard. 2 away, bottom 3, 1-1 tie. On a 3-1. Obertop takes ball 4. Garwal reached back for a 90-mile-an-hour fastball and missed low and away. And waltzing up to the plate, Joey Velasquez. Garwal did not walk a Hoosier last week in the 5-2 loss on Saturday to Indiana. It was his first walk to Jimmy Obertop here in the bottom of the 3rd inning. Fastball just outside, about a whole ball's width off. And Joey Velasquez at the plate. Doubled, then stole the bag and was stranded at 3rd in inning number 1. Obertop back late to first base. A good move from Garwal, because when he comes set and then delivers home, every single pitch, his knee crosses the left knee, and then he comes home, so it looks very similar to his pickoff move. The 1-0. Line drive wrapped down the right field line. That's extra bags. Obertop hauling around second base. He'll get in the 3rd. Waving him home is Coach Greenspan. The throw from Livermore all the way to the plate is not in time. A triple for Joey Velasquez puts Michigan back in front.
And that's Joey Velasquez's second extra base hit of the day. His first was a double off the left field wall. That one right into the right field corner. We were saying the difference in space between the foul line and the visitors' bullpen is very short. So when that ball gets into that corner fair, you're able to see that ball trickle around a little bit, and it's very difficult for the outfielders to find that ball. Joey Velasquez, despite his size, has a lot of really good speed, and really good on Jimmy Obertop from going from first all the way to home on that 2-2. Great work there by the Wolverines to go up 2-1.
He was legging that one out, wasn't he?
Definitely, especially coming off of knee surgery. That's really difficult to do, really short in time.
First pitch, Tito Flores almost has a fastball graze off his forearm hair. It's 1-0. Could tell Joey Velasquez was hustling around the base paths. He was like, go, go. The 1-0 pitch.
Once he saw the green light for Jimmy Obertop to go home, he knew immediately that he was going to leg that one all the way out to 3rd.
Wasn't he? A mound visit for Northwestern. It's going to be Dennis Cook, the assistant coach. Jim Foster resting just down the steps in the Northwestern dugout. So 2 of the tougher legs down for Joey Velasquez. If we're looking ahead for the potential for a cycle, he's got the double, he's got the triple.
Those are probably the 2 hardest ones for sure. Definitely the
He's
power
got
for the
power
home run.
for a homer.
Yeah, exactly.
Count is 2 balls, no strikes with Tito Flores. Garwal's pitch popped up middle of the infield, right in front of home plate, now behind it. The catcher Ford makes the catch. He discarded that mask early in the process, made the catch. Michigan picks up 1. They've retaken the lead in the bottom of the 3rd inning. We head to the 4th at Ray Fisher Stadium in Ann Arbor on your home for Michigan baseball. Michigan a 2-1 lead as we head to the fourth inning here in Ann Arbor. Zach Linfield and Jake Singer with you. Brings 2 more home games this season. Tomorrow, Mother's Day, 3 p.m. against Northwestern. Tuesday at 4 p.m. Out of conference matchup in a midweek against Xavier. First pitch to Alex Calarco from Noah Renard is a fastball for a strike. Pitch count just above 40 now. That was number 42 from Noah. Checks the pitch comp on his left wrist and settles into his windup, the 0-1. There's that slider again. Back door to a lefty, front door to a righty. It's called for a strike on the outside corner. Clarko, a big frame, 6'5", 235, swings and fouls one back to the screen. Will do another dance at 0-2. He had 3 hits in his Northwestern debut a little over a year ago. But his first 6 games of his sophomore campaign were hitless, 0 for 18, and put together a hit streak of 6 games where he went 12 of 26 and raised his batting average to .288, a fastball just off the plate, 1-2. Good extra base power, 21 total. 1 for 4 yesterday. Bounces one right side. Tough play. Vander Mortal looking to pitch it to Renard. A slide from Calarco was not in time. Dove head first into first base. Don't see that all too often anymore. 1 away for Noah Renard.
No, you really don't see that unless you think the base runner has an actual chance at getting on base safely. But really nice work by the Michigan defense to take its time and get the first out of the inning.
You think all the red lights are flashing right now for this Michigan defense with Steven Harustich at the plate. First pitch to him, raised right side out of play, 0-1. Good start for Renard. Harustich led off the second inning with a double, came around to score on the sacrifice fly from Kevin Ferrer. Tied the game at 1. Michigan just retook the lead in the bottom of the third on a Joey Velasquez triple. Fastball after Harustich squared for a bunt is taken for a ball, 1-1. A monstrous home run to left field yesterday that Tito Flores just stood in his tracks, turned around and watched it fly. 1-1. Lifted down the right field line. This one will go out of play for a foul ball. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Played for the Lakeshore Chinooks in the Northwoods League a summer ago. And, well, nothing's changed. A couple of monstrous home runs. Could have cleared a mountain a couple of times. Did the same thing yesterday. The 1-2. Checked his swing. Did he go? Yes, he did. The home plate umpire this time. Robert Lothian makes the call. And Noah Renard tabs his 4th strikeout. He's really incorporating that slider now, isn't he, Jake?
He definitely is. He's really finding that command. He recognizes that that outside corner is all his for the taking. They're calling the strike even when the batter is not swinging. So if he's able to continuously locate that low outside corner, Renard can do whatever he wants with that slider.
1-1, fastball away.
Vice versa, Renard's also actually been hitting the inside corner with that changeup. So having that 1-2 punch in addition to that 88-mile-an-hour fastball actually has really been working for him today, which we haven't seen much of this season.
Takes his time towing the slab. The 1-0 to Markinson. He'll take a strike on the outside corner. The numbers for Markinson are almost identical. Copy and paste from a year ago. Pops one up behind home plate. Sotrace chasing towards the backstop and out of play. Batted .277 a year ago. Batting .289 coming into today. His average now up to .296. 94 bats in 22, 97 at-bats here in 23. 26 hits a year ago, 28 this season. RBIs just 2 apart. Slugging almost identical. On base percentage up by 25 points this year. The 1-2. Bounce towards third. A low bounce for Voigt. Makes a strong throw over to first base. 1-2-3 for Noah Renard in the Michigan defense, leading 2-1. Bottom of the fourth. Here we come on your home for Michigan baseball. Bottom of the order coming up for Michigan. 6, 7, 8, and 9. Jack Vandermoortel will lead off for the Maize and Blue in a 2-1 ball game. A must-have series for Michigan. A win would go a long way today. Indiana and Maryland tied atop the Big Ten standings at 13 and 6. Michigan with a real chance to play catch-up in these next two series with Northwestern today and tomorrow, and Ohio State Thursday through Saturday. Sam Garwal to pitch again for Northwestern here in the fourth inning. First pitch to Vandermoortel just inside. We've seen that pitch be called a strike quite a few times today from Robert Lothian.
Okay, Lothian's been pretty consistent with the inside and outside corner calls, but that one I do believe was the right call, just a little too inside for ball number 1.
The 1-0 screamed back to the screen, 1-1. For Vandermoortel, his average hit its peak back in mid-April at Rutgers when it reached 315. Then back-to-back hitless contests. And since it's pretty much leveled out, around 285 to 300, right now sitting at 290. There's a slider below the zone for a ball. 2-1. The delivery from Garwal. Vandermoortel thought about biting on a high fastball, but lays off. Favorable count now for number 51 in white, Michigan's first baseman. Hit safely in all three games in Minneapolis last weekend. And a base hit yesterday. Now 3-2. Takes a fastball right down the middle. Velocity has been consistent to say the least for Sam Garwal. Anywhere between 88 to mid-90. The payoff pitch to Vandermoortel. Inside, ball 4. Same spot as that first pitch on the inside corner that you talked about last inning, Jake. That's been called a strike.
It definitely is a 50-50 pitch. You and I just looked at each other saying, hey, sometimes you'll take it, sometimes it's going to go against your way there. And Garwal obviously has gotten that pitch occasionally, and just there, Jack Vandermoortel, nice job taking it and got the ball 4 call, and he'll take first base.
3 for 5 day yesterday for Mitch Voigt. Takes a hack and misses at strike 1. Now 3 multi-hit games in his last 5. His bat was red hot at the end of March, but has taken a dip of about 50 points, but a day like yesterday will help out. He squares to bunt on the 0-1. Vandermortel was leading, but he dives back in safely on a pickoff attempt from Garwal. "57 pitches so far for the southpaw. Steps off, throws over to first. Vandermortel scurries back in. 1 run on 2 hits for Northwestern. 2 runs on 4 hits for Michigan. Voigt swinging on this one. Oh, fastball way outside. He reached across the plate and missed it. A quick 0-2 hole for Mitch Voigt. He's been something else in his freshman season. .258 batting average, 6 home runs. A curveball bounces away from Cooper Ford, and Jack Vandermortel will take second base. So a runner in scoring position with nobody away for Michigan's third baseman. Gabe Sotrace waits on deck. And Greg Pace Jr. is in the hole. Garwal exclusively from the stretch. Looks back at Vandermortel, no one holding. He'll make a move and just throw an eephus back towards second base towards Livermore. A playful tag, and the ball goes back to Garwal. Runner on second. The 1-2 coming from Garwal to Voigt. Swing and a miss. The 5th strikeout now for Sam Garwal, the native of San Diego.
And it's really interesting because a lot of these Wolverines are righty batters going up against this lefty, but Sam Garwal has really been able to overcome this battle of the righty-lefty matchup and have been striking out these Wolverines who didn't strike out much yesterday. So really good work on Garwal finding these corners and dotting them. And the Wolverines just haven't really been able to find that ball as well as they did yesterday.
Curveball for ball 1. It just didn't get over the top. Gabe Sotrace at the plate, 1-0. He shot a flare single into shallow right center field his first time up, then stole the bag and was stranded at second base. Second pitch, a curveball that just drifted through the zone, and Sotrace, I think he tried to put that one all the way into Carroll Hutchins Stadium in left center field. The swing he took at it. Ball and a strike. Garwal looks back at Vandermortel, and again will make a playful toss towards second. Third base umpire right now, Grady Smith, having a conversation with Tony Livermore, the second baseman. The count is 2-1. I think they just called him for a delay of game, Jake.
Yeah, they do have the pitch clock in effect, but we haven't really seen
Jim
it used that
Foster
often, especially with Garwal moving so quickly today. It's hard to believe that he would be called for delay of game, but if it is true, he does not get a warning. It would be an automatic ball. That's what the umpires are trying to discuss right now, I believe.
I think the conversation might be something about Garwal wanting a reset of the pitch clock after the throwback from Livermore at second base. Well, nonetheless, Gabe Sotrace is gifted a ball in the count. It's 2-1. Michigan leads this game 2-1, bottom of the 4th inning. 1 out, runner on second base. The pitch, fouled back to the screen, count is even 2-2. Sotrace had a hot start to the year, but has been a really stable backstop for Michigan later in this season, with his average down at 217. Two. Curveball. He's just not getting on top of that pitch right now. The count is full at 3-2.
And so Trey's with that single back in the second inning has proven he can hit off Garwal. A single would probably score Vandermortel from second base. especially with the 3-2 count. We'll have to protect, but it is more of a hitter's count.
Here's the full count. Swing and a miss. Back-to-back swinging Ks for Sam Garwal.
A good pitch there by Sam Garwell going high outside. Sotrays really has had trouble this entire season going with the high and outside pitch. So going with the 89-mile-an-hour fastball, you really got to load up quickly if you're Gabe Sotrays, and he did not do that, especially with a 3-2 count, guessing if it would be a ball or a strike. Strike three, you're out, send it back to the bench, and you have 2 outs. The runner still in scoring position.
Greg Pace struck out his first time up. He takes ball one high. You can see the respect that Northwestern has for Greg Pace Jr. with his speed and his ability to bunt the ball as they play corners in with 2 outs and a runner on second base. Middle infielders back on the grass. Reasonable depth in the outfield for Northwestern's outfielders. Fastball in there for a strike. It's 1-1. Sam Garwal, the 2022 San Diego Pitcher of the Year as a senior. Came to the California All-State team. Was All-League a year prior to that in 2021. Not quite All-State yet. Greg Pace fouls one out of play. Back towards the IM Sports Building here in Ann Arbor. Garwal played both sides in high school, a 4-year letter winner, a pitcher and an outfielder. ERA of 1.31 with 130 strikeouts his senior year. Pace pops up another one on a play. One of his most impressive starts in his senior campaign was a one-hit shutout in the championship game that led Canyon Crest Academy to a Division II CIF title. The 1-2, runner on the move, popped up high in the air left side. It looks like that'll drift out of play. Long run for Ferrer. And it will bounce into the Michigan bullpen. No real action in either bullpen so far. Northwestern has had one pitcher up and just stretching. But the entirety of the Michigan staff is still in that dugout on the left field side. 1-2 strikes with Greg Pace Jr. 2-1 ball game, Michigan on top. Runner on second base, 2 away. Garwal's pitch, way outside. Vander Mortal was halfway down the line and was ready to take off for third in case Cooper Ford couldn't glove it. Much needed experience right now at the plate for Greg Pace Jr. No Jonathan Kim in the lineup. Swing and a miss. He strikes out the side. 7 strikeouts for Sam Garwal. Greg Pace strikes out for a second time today. 2-1 lead for Michigan when we come back for the 5th inning on your home for Michigan baseball. Noah Renard has retired 7 Wildcats in a row. A relatively long top of the 2nd inning with a double single sacrifice fly and walk. ended in a double play off the bat of Cooper Ford. But since then, he's really settled in. Kevin Ferrer leads off for Northwestern, and he bounces a foul ball left side. Play made by third base umpire Grady Smith. Robert Lothian behind the plate, Daniel Jimenez at first, Brent Rice at second. Quick conversation between Lothian and the Michigan dugout as Noah Renard goes back to work the 0-1. Skied right side, should be playable for the Michigan infield. Ted Burton, no problem. Second baseman makes the catch, and that's 8 in a row for Noah Renard.
Good work there by Noah Renard. He's working very quickly now through 4 innings, only 56 pitches. As I said at the beginning of the broadcast, if you're the Michigan Wolverines and Tracy Smith, you want your starting pitchers to go as long as possible. Renard has definitely proven to do that today. And hopefully for himself, he can go 2-3 more innings, especially if he's able to force weak contact like that when 1 or 2 pitches in the at-bat.
Griffin Arnone chops one foul down the first base line for an 0-1 count. I think for Renard, it was really establishing the fastball that he had early. The 0-1 pitch is the fastball into the outside corner for strike 2, but then also putting the slider in the strike zone, but also throwing it away from right-handed batters. Seems to have been a key for him in the start. The 0-2. Outside corner, just missed it. A perfect pitch into the corner.
And we've seen that ball get called a strike consistently today. I believe that ball had some plate on it, but that changeup just missed on the outside corner. And Arnone stays alive for just a second.
Same exact spot. And you can hear the murmurs from the Michigan crowd in what is a pretty packed Ray Fisher Stadium today.
A beautiful crowd today. Definitely got more packed as the game went along.
The crowd was pretty light yesterday after the time change. The 2-2 fouled off the helmet of Gabe Sotrace. Stumbles for a moment.
It kind of knocked him back a little bit. Hopefully he's okay.
Seems to be all right. Joyful conversation quickly between Noah Renard and our home plate umpire, Robert Lothian. I'm sure Noah was acting very happy to see him out there at the mound. A foul ball back towards the Michigan dugout, 2-2. And I'm sure the answer from Lothian was put it a quarter of an inch closer to the plate. And he'll get that signal for a strike. 2 backwards Ks for Noah so far. There's a foul ball again off the bat of Arnone. Right back to the backstop. The 2-2 again. Outside corner, ball 3. Well, this crowd certainly getting a little riled up now, aren't they?
100%. This crowd is really getting into it now, especially with the Wolverines having their tight lead. And a few calls have gone both ways today, a few times not in favor of the Michigan Wolverines.
Skied foul down the left field line on the 2-2. Excuse me, the count is 3-2. Scoreboard out in right field reads 2-2. Swung on and tipped out of the glove of Gabe Sotrace. He had it for a moment, couldn't squeeze it. And more life again for Griffin Arnone. The 3-2 again from the windup. Renard right back up the middle for a base hit. The third knock of the day for Northwestern. And Arnone is on base for a second straight time. We know Noah Renard to be a pretty benevolent person. A conversation with our home plate umpire, Robert Lothian, about where those three different balls missed. And now he's out of the stretch with one away. Slider way outside. So Trace shifts over into that left-handed batter's box. Ball one on Cooper Ford. Slider slowing down just a bit for Renard. There's the slider again. He sped it up that time. The last one at 77. That one just below 80 miles an hour for the Michigan right-hander.
That's been his go-to pitch today. When he needed a strike, he's been throwing that slider. He's been throwing it very consistently, even more so than his fastball.
Pickoff move is a no-go for Noah Renard. Back safely is Arnone. Northwestern looks to tie this game. It's 2-1 Michigan. Top of the fifth inning here in Ann Arbor. There's the breaking ball again. It's slapped fouled on the third baseline. Mitch Voigt into shallow left field to grab it and toss it back in towards the Wolverine dugout. For a young man wearing a Jim Harbaugh jersey, a football jersey, Michigan's bat boy for the day. The 1-2, runner on the move, swing and a miss. Throw down the second base from So Trace is not in time. Sliding safely is Arnone. But Noah gets a strikeout of Cooper Ford. I think they're going to make a interference call here.
Yeah, there was only one out, so obviously the strikeout made out number two. The stolen base was safe. It would have to be some interference.
I don't think that Arnone came off the bag. I think that would have had to be interference. It was a slider away, and Ford reached across the plate to swing at it. I think it was interference on Cooper Ford, which would result in the out of the runner heading to second base. So Michigan will hold on to a 2-1 lead and some help for Noah Renard here on your home for Michigan baseball. Michigan and Northwestern dueling it out here, a Saturday afternoon matchup in Ann Arbor. Michigan lights are on at Ray Fisher Stadium. Michigan a 2-1 lead over the visitors from Evanston, Illinois. The call was a strikeout and interference on Cooper Ford to end the top of the fifth inning. Top of the lineup card for Michigan, Cody Jeffress leads off against Sam Garwal. Fires in strike one on an 88-mile-an-hour fastball. He works just inches towards the third base side of the rubber. The slider misses just a hair outside. The strike zone has gotten tighter for both sides, with Robert Lothian behind the plate. 0-1 delivery. That's called for a strike. It's now 1 and 2. That scoreboard out in right field is almost say lacking a little bit. What do you think?
Yeah, it's
It counts 1 and 2.
a little. Sometimes you get a little mistakes, and yeah, it's probably 1 and 2.
There's a
Called
swing and a miss. Jeffress goes down.
well,
Back to back to back to back strikeouts for Sam Garwal.
guess the one ball did not matter at the end of the day. Cody Jeffress doesn't really strike out much, so that was really interesting seeing him swing through that 85-mile-an-hour changeup.
23 strikeouts to 32 walks. Patience at the plate. Here's Ted Burton, 1 for 2. Solo home run in the first. Makes a big swing at a curveball for strike 1.
And Garwal's really thrown that curveball very well today. It's starting kind of at the waist of the batter, then drops towards their feet, especially with the righty-lefty matchup. Nothing you can do as he tries to throw
Throw it
another
again.
one in there for a strike. Really difficult for the batter like Ted Burton reading that one. He wants to swing, and when he does, it completely leaves the entire batter's strike zone, and he swings and misses.
No balls, 2 strikes. The pitch up and in. Almost got Ted Burton. Takes a quick look out towards Garwal. And will settle back in. So a career high in strikeouts now for the left-hander for Northwestern. That's 8. The 1-2 pitch. Fouled off down the left field line. Just chopped foul off the bat of Burton. He struck out 7 a week ago today against Indiana. The previous high was back on April 8th against Illinois. He struck out 5. 0-4 record, a 6.28 ERA coming in. Ted Burton wanted to take a hack at a fastball, but leaves it outside. It's 2-2. ERA for Garwal down 21 points with this start today. He allowed 2 runs through 4 1/3. 2-2 even pitch. Curveball outside corner for strike 3. Ted Burton frustrated, down he goes. A 5th consecutive strikeout for Sam Garwal. He's got all pitches moving for him right now.
That was really difficult for Ted Burton. 3 really good curveballs there by Garwal, 2 inside, and then on the outside corner going backdoor curve. Beautiful pitch by Garwal, and you can see the frustration on Ted Burton's face as he walks back to the dugout.
Here's Jimmy Obertop, the Michigan DH. He'll take curveball low and in. Think it's that Garwal certainly doesn't want to get burned on a fastball like he did in the first inning. Here's the 1-0 to Jimmy. Line drive towards short glove by the shortstop, McOlfatrick. It's been a quiet day for the Northwestern shortstop, but he makes a nice play there to stay on his toes. We've got ourselves a good one here in Ann Arbor. 2-1 Michigan lead. Noah Renard back to the mound on WCBN Sports. 9-1-2 for Jim Foster's Northwestern Wildcats. Roland McOlfatrick made a really nice catch at shortstop on a laser off the bat of Jimmy Obertop to end the bottom of the 5th inning. Northwestern shortstop digs into the right-handed batter's box. Noah Renard to pitch again for Michigan. First pitch to him, misses just low and outside that corner. 85 on the gun. 2 pitches away from 75 for Noah Renard. The 1-0 into the corner for strike one. Here's the 1-1 from Noah. Swung on and tapped back to Noah Renard. He kicks it right back to himself, and he flips it calmly over to Jack Vandermortel for the first out of the frame.
A good heads-up play there by Noah Renard. Originally, he expected that ball to go past him, but when he felt it hit his foot, he was immediately looking around him. Luckily, the ball just landed right in front of his eyes. He's able to calm himself down, gather himself, find that ball, and flip it over to Jack Vandermortel for the first out of the inning.
Not often do you kick it right back to yourself. I didn't see Noah Renard in Qatar. Did you?
I had not, no.
Here's Tony Livermore as the lineup card flips over. Slider is way low. Gabe Sotrace doing the catching today for Michigan. Defense plays straight up. On the Northwestern leadoff man. Second pitch, line drive, left field side. That one tailing, and it's foul into the Michigan bullpen. A 1-1 count with Tony Livermore, who batted down in the 9-hole yesterday. He doubled in the 5th inning of yesterday's ball game. Was hit by a pitch, a ground out, and a fly out. Has played in all but one of Northwestern's games this year. Dribbles a bunt left side. Boyd, a barehanded play. Throws it away. Vandermortel had to go down the line to try and grab it. Livermore sliding to second. The throw from the second baseman. Burton is in there to grab Livermore. Right place, right time for Cody Jeffress. A play that was all over the place just ends in and out.
Great job there by the defense. Right move there by the Northwestern offense to move from first base to second base on the error, but you're completely right. Cody Jefferson was in the right place, right time, able to flip it over to Ted Burton at second base, laid on the tag for the second out of the inning, and the Wolverines were able to avoid catastrophe there and put out the second out here.
Evan Minarvik takes slider for strike one. I think they gave him a hit. And then what would have been an error on Mitch Voigt is no longer an error. There's another slider, swinging strike this time for Minarvik. Yeah, they're going to give him a hit on the dribbler to third. The 0-2 pitch, swing and a miss. Noah Renard, 3 consecutive sliders, puts down Minarvik.
Renard cannot figure out that slider as it has been his weakness, and Renard recognizes it.
2-1 lead for Michigan as we head bottom 6 here in Ann Arbor on your home for Michigan baseball. We've got ourselves a tight ball game from Ray Fisher Stadium in Ann Arbor. Sam Garwal pitching again for Northwestern. There's a Wildcat up and warming down in the bullpen. But for now, it's Sam Garwal in the sixth inning. Joey Velasquez to lead off for Michigan. 4, 5, 6, Velasquez, Flores, Vandermortel. Joey's 2 for 2. First pitch he sees. Fastball high. Last pitch was number 85 for the Northwestern Southpaw. 1-0 pitch. Another fastball. Way high, way outside. He set a career high in strikeouts today with 9. His previous high was 7. 5 consecutive strikeouts from the 4th to the 5th inning. He puts a fastball perfectly into the outside corner for strike 1. In games where Garwal's pitched this year for Northwestern, they are 1-12. 2-1 pitch. Velasquez takes strike 2.
What you're seeing today, Garwal is actually playing miraculous. He has 9 strikeouts, 2 walks, only giving up 2 runs also on these 4 hits through 5 innings.
The 2-2. Swung on and missed. 10 strikeouts. First time in double-digit figures for Sam Garwal in his collegiate career.
It's all about run support. You saw yesterday, Northwestern was able to put up 5 runs, but sporadically around the game, but giving up
They fell behind early, too.
Exactly. Only scoring 1 run, though, through 5 innings in a low-scoring battle definitely does not help your pitcher, who is pitching a gem to this point. He also is at 89 pitches, which is worth noting.
First pitch to Tito Flores. Swung on and missed. Man, it's like everything he throws right now is just dancing by the Michigan bats. Last week, his start against Indiana, 6 1/3. 4 hits, 7 strikeouts, no earned runs. He hit one batter over 86 pitches. There's a curveball that almost hits Tito Flores. But the start before that in East Lansing, last week of April, 5 innings, 7 hits, 6 earned runs, walked 2 and struck out just 4. Does that sound like the guy we're watching right now? Is Flores a rocket off his bat down into the left field corner? It's off the wall. Just inches to the right of the foul pole. Tito Flores will scamper into second with the leadoff double. 1 out double, that is.
Great work there by Tito Flores. Off the left field wall. We mentioned before, the wall there is very high. It's only 312 feet out there in left field. Hit close to the foul pole line, but stayed fair, bounced off, and trickled away from the left fielder, Kevin Farrar. Tito Flores able to take 2 bases very easily. Now with only just 1 out, I believe that will be Garwal's day. I'll probably be done with him at 92 pitches. Very nice work there by Garwal, but obviously the pitch count is very high, and with a man on second base, it's going to be time to pull the plug, and I believe
They're going to go to him. Yep, that'll match the career high innings pitched for Sam Garwal. And he deserves a standing O from his Northwestern teammates, family, friends on our right side. We'll meet the new Northwestern pitcher when we come back. Michigan holding a 2-1 lead here in Ann Arbor after a Tito Flores 1 out double at the bottom of the 6th inning. Jim Foster has made a call to the bullpen for the first time this afternoon in a 2-1 ball game. Michigan on top with the runner on second, Tito Flores. And for Northwestern, it'll be the 6'4" right-hander, senior from San Francisco, California, Jack Dyke.
Jack Dyke, 4.09 ERA this season in 11 innings pitched, 5 earned runs, 6 walks, just 4 strikeouts. So not your heavy strikeout pitcher coming in here in a really tricky situation with the runner on second base in just 1 hour. Jack Vandermartle up to bat. The most notable difference with Jack Dyke is that he is a righty pitcher versus the lefty. So we'll see how he fares against this really righty heavy batting lineup between the Michigan Wolverines.
Vandermortel took strike one on a slider. He skies one out to the right field side. Hrustich racing over towards the line. Tito Flores will tag. A strong throw from Hrustich all the way to third base. One hops in. But Tito Flores slides in safely. So Vandermortel moves the runner to third. And now Mitch Voigt, who's had a tough day at the plate, with a pop out to first base and a strikeout in the fourth inning, has a chance to drive in his 28th run of the year.
Yeah, Mitch Voigt 0 for 2 in the day with a 256 batting average, but he actually has hit righties very well this season.
Waves and misses at strike one. The last time that Dyke took the mound was last weekend against Indiana. Sunday appearance for 3 1/3.
That was actually his season high with 3 1/3 inning, 2 earned runs with 1 hit.
He pitched well.
2 walks, 2 strikeouts.
It's the walk that'll get you. 46 pitches. That was in that back and forth offensive battle. 11-9 final. Voigt spoils off the 0-2 to the right side. Michigan 2-1. Bottom of the sixth inning in Ann Arbor. Lights are on at Ray Fisher Stadium. Good crowd on hand. A very pleasant day for baseball. The 0-2 swung on and missed. Voigt goes fishing. Good work by Jack Dyke to leave the Michigan runner on. Tito Flores double does not matter. 2-1 lead for Michigan on your home for Michigan baseball. Top of the seventh inning here in Ann Arbor. Scores 2-1 Michigan. 5 hits for the Wolverines, 4 for the Wildcats of Northwestern. Noah Renard. Superb start so far. You will see the toughest part of the order for Northwestern. 3-4-5. Clarko, Hrustich, Markinson. From the windup. First pitch ball. He has really incorporated that slider today. Not much changeup, but the fastball's been accurate. The 1-0. There's your fastball in the outside corner for a strike. It's 1-1. Alex Clarko, a strikeout in the first. And a bounce out to the first baseman, Vandermortel, back in the fourth inning. That's here, top 7. Line drive right side, right at Jack at first base. He was playing a few steps off, a few strides off, we'll say, the first baseline, and he was right there to make 2 steps to his right and collect it.
Yeah, really nice heads-up play there by Jack Finner Immortal. He was ready, he was on his toes, and he was able to move a few steps to his right to make that line out for the first putout of the top of the 7th inning.
Steven Hrustich, 1 for 2 today. A big swing and a miss. Slider outside. He looks at his first base coach as my bad. He has the only extra base hit of the day for Northwestern. The 0-1. Shoots one. Right center field. Velasquez comes on. It'll skip under his glove. Greg Pace Jr. there to back it up. Has some trouble with it, but relays it into Ted Burton. There's another extra base hit for Steven Hrustich, his 3rd of the series.
Right idea there by Joey Velasquez. Don't know if he probably should have dove in on that ball. Looked a little bit too far out of reach for him. By diving away, you prevented a single and allowed Hrustich to move from first base to second base. So maybe a little bit of a mental error there. I like the idea and nice aggressiveness there by Joey Velasquez, but just did not pay off for him.
So now Bennett Markinson, who singled off Renard in the 2nd. John Torella has grabbed the weighted balls in the bullpen. There's a sword, a swing and a miss for Markinson. 0-1. A lot of the success today for Noah Renard is likely due to his ability to get ahead in the count. He has been fantastic at that today. The 0-1 slider, a swing and a miss outside. Back-to-back waves and misses for Northwestern bats at the plate. For Markinson in this battle with Renard. The 0-2. Balances one right side. Easy play for Van Immortal. He staves off Renard. Runner advances to 3rd, but 2 away here in the top of the 7th.
Good work there by Noah Renard. Another really nice slider. Got very weak contact, able to let Jack Finner Immortal handle the rest. And now with 2 outs, you do have a runner on third base, but you should not be worrying about him with Farrar on up at bat. 0 for 1 on the day.
But he had that sacrifice fly
He
back in the
did.
2nd.
He did. But that would not help him in this case with 2 outs.
On the season, he bats 1 for 4. Average at 250. The pitch from Renard is a fastball up and in. Ferrer spent 5 seasons in stores with UConn at Connecticut. An injury-riddled 2022. Only played 20 games late in the year, primarily used as the Huskies DH. Wanted to keep his body fresh. Hit 264 in his final season there. A slider is just high for Renard. And you can hear this Michigan crowd and how they feel with home plate umpire Robert Lothian. 2 balls in the count. Kevin Ferrer takes ball 3 on the slider outside. A very light warm-up right now for Michigan's bullpen. I believe that's Ahmad Harajli, who pitched in last night's game. That's exactly who that is. They trust Noah here. The 3-0. In there for a strike. Ferrer will have to step back into the box. Prior to the series with Michigan in games with 3 or more at-bats since a mid-April trip to northern Illinois, Ferrer has 5 multi-hit games. He fouls one off right side. The count is full. This crowd will likely urge on Noah Renard here with the payoff pitch. Pretty hefty crowd here in Ann Arbor today. It was a very light crowd yesterday. The game time was at 6 p.m., supposed to be under the lights, was played at 1. The 3-2. Line back up the middle. Here comes Greg Pace Jr. He will wait on it. He's got a tie game. Kevin Ferrer has drove in both Northwestern runs. Two out, RBI single for Kevin Ferrer gets the job done. Now the center fielder, Griffin Arnone. Seemed like Greg out in center field was kind of in between whether or not he was going to lunge at that ball, but if it went under his glove, Ferrer's probably still running a fastball for a ball 1-0.
Yeah, it was a little bit of a misjudgment there by Greg Pace Jeter. He didn't take his first step in. He actually just stayed there. And if he took his first step in, he actually probably would have been able to catch that ball. Just a little bit of hard, especially with those balls coming right at you with those line drives. It's really hard to judge sometimes they were going to be over your head or start diving a little bit too soon. So because of that, and he stayed just a millisecond longer, he wasn't able to catch up to that ball. And you did see Northwestern being able to tie that game up at 2.
Fastball swing and a miss to Arnone. It's 1-1. Bernard pitches. Another swing and a miss. He has lost a bit of velocity on the fastball as the day has gone on. Last one at 87. Runner on first base. That's go-ahead run for Northwestern. Here in the top of the 7th inning. Crowd wants to stretch. Here at Ray Fisher, the 1-2 outside. There's the slider. Arnone 3 years at Elon in North Carolina. Only had 126 total at-bats there. The fastball misses high. I would expect a mound visit here if he loses Arnone.
Big pitch right here for Noah Renard. It's at 95 pitches. This will probably be his last inning regardless.
The pitch outside, ball 4. He lost him. So runners on first and second base, and the Michigan bullpen will stir.
You're correct about the mound visit. I don't see the pitching coach, though, coming out to speak.
Here comes Tracy.
Well,
He's at the top step. I think he's going to go out there quickly to give his bullpen some more time. John Torrella's back up. Ahmad Harajli stands close to Torrella.
neither of which, though, have actually started pitching yet. They're both just working with the weighted balls and stretching out a little bit. Harajli actually did pitch 2 innings yesterday.
Yeah,
So
he
very
looked good
interesting to
too.
see him working a little bit. One other option for Tracy Smith is going to his third baseman, Mitch Voigt. We haven't seen him yet pitch in this series, and this has kind of been a time where he's tried to utilize him without wanting to
Right.
go to his actual bullpen just yet. Have to see if the starter tomorrow is Jacob Denner or Chase Allen. You also have both of those pitchers available to you too.
I think after what Jacob Denner did last weekend, I don't think you can keep him out of the rotation this weekend.
That's a good
Complete
point.
game shutout against Minnesota.
Exactly. Yeah, went 9
Gem.
innings. Probably his best start to his Michigan career.
I think they're going to make the change here. I think Mitch Voigt might throw for Michigan.
Yes, exactly. I can see that exactly.
Yep.
Right.
Noah Renard will depart. Kind of a surprise, if we're being honest here. And I think Mitch Voigt is going to get the ball. He will have to take off all of his tape on his left and right wrists. He will have to get rid of his arm sleeve on his right arm. And Noah Renard has made his way into the Michigan dugout. Dylan Stanton will likely enter for Michigan. And that will be the day for Noah Renard. So we will collect our thoughts. A 2-2 tie. Michigan Northwestern top 7 as Mitch Voigt gets set to throw for the Wolverines when we come back on your home for Michigan baseball. First call to the bullpen for Tracy Smith and Michigan in a 2-2 tie in game 2 of this 3-game series with Northwestern. It's the 6-foot freshman from Whitefish Bay, Wisconsin, Mitch Voigt.
Mitch Voigt, 27 innings pitched this season, has a 3.67 ERA, 11 earned runs, 18 walks. Sorry, 10 walks, 18 strikeouts. My apologies. He has been probably one of the most consistent relief pitchers for Tracy Smith this season, just with the one caveat that he would have to relinquish his position at third base to go to the pitching mound. Seeing him make this move was not surprising to me, as we didn't see John Torella or Harajli really doing much in the bullpen. So now with 2 outs, he just needs to get out 4 to get out of this inning, and the Wolverines can reset themselves.
First pitch to Cooper Ford. There's a fastball that misses out. 92 on the gun from Mitch Voigt. He was one of the 2 relief pitchers that Michigan used last weekend in Minneapolis. Not a very good performance for Mitch. 2/3 of an inning, 1 hit, 2 walks, 2 earned runs. Swing and a miss. It's 1-1 with Cooper Ford, who was 0 for 2.
One of Mitch Voigt's specialties, though, is he's one of the harder throwing pitchers on this Michigan team. He threw a 92-mile-an-hour fastball. I've seen it get up to 94 before. So these Northwestern batters will really need to catch up to that speed.
The 1-1. That's popped up foul right over the head of myself, Zach Linfield, and Jake Singer today. WCBN Sports. 1-2. And look who's down in the bullpen getting loose for Michigan. That's Jacob Denner. So maybe that answers our question about who might be the Sunday starter. Is Chase Allen currently in the dugout? The 1-2. That's spoiled off to the right side. Runners on first and second base at second. Ferrer are known at first.
Ford just doing a nice job of piecing these off. Definitely with the higher velocity by Mitch Voigt, just trying to stay alive. You're forcing Voigt to make a mistake and maybe throwing him a changeup down the middle.
Yeah, he didn't throw the fastball there. He went with the changeup. It's 2-2. Ford got off to an incredibly hot start, took a deep step down in April, but then a game against Illinois turned around that cold stretch. He went 3 for 4 with 2 doubles in that game. The 2-2. Hard on the ground towards short. The easy one to second base. Jeffress to Burton connects. Well, Jake, we've got ourselves a 2-2 ball game here in Ann Arbor. Good work by Mitch Voigt to get the job done. We stretch in Ann Arbor on your home for Michigan baseball. Jack Dyke back out to work for Northwestern in a 2-2 tie ball game. Northwestern now out hitting Michigan 6-5. What has really turned into a beautiful day for baseball in Ann Arbor. And as I say that, Jake, rain starts coming down.
I see that. You're completely right. We have some fans starting to move a little bit. Some fans either leaving the ballpark or trying to get undercover if they can. You and I, at least here in the
I'm gonna stay
box,
quiet. I just eat my words faster than I ever have in my life.
at least sitting here in the box, we're undercover. Have not felt any raindrops trickling through the window.
Gabe Sotre swings and misses at a slider from Jack Dyke. I mean, what are the odds?
It's coming down pretty hard now all of a sudden, literally out of nowhere.
It's not like we saw it coming. It's 0-1 to Sotres. The pitch is taken for strike 2.
Definitely not hard enough rain, though, to postpone this game at this point. I do not believe there's any thunder and lightning in the forecast, as we are also in the bottom of the 7th inning. So
this one shot back up the middle. That'll be a hit for Sotres. Chasing it in center field is Arnone. A big turnaround first, but retreating. Sotres is 2 for 3.
Wolverines, they can score quickly here for any reason if this game got postponed or canceled for that matter. They could score here in the bottom of the 7th inning. They could win this game in a shorter fashion.
So Jordan Rogers will now pinch hit for Greg Pace Jr. Rogers also pinch hit yesterday. He went 0 for 1, but laid down a beautiful bunt that helped Michigan score. That was on the Casey Buckley double.
So Jordan Rogers comes in for Greg Pace Jr. No Jonathan Kim today.
Rogers tries to bunt, but squeezes it back to the backstop. It's 0-1. Charging was the third baseman, Minarvik, who did not have the best day fielding yesterday.
He has looked much better today, though.
He
I will
has.
say that.
The entire Northwestern defense has looked much better. The 0-1 took a fastball on the outside corner. That's 0-2.
That's difficult for the Michigan Wolverines. Rogers is now going to have to swing with just 3 hits this season. He's now going to go talk to Tracy Smith.
Timeout.
Yeah, definitely going to have to now reevaluate the situation. They could call a hit and run here. Maybe they steal. Maybe they let Jordan Rogers just fully swing. I don't know what they decide to do. Or even, I know it's very, very risky with an 0-2 count, but you could still possibly bunt with the idea that you must get the ball down or you're going to strike out.
So what would you do here, Jake?
It's a really tricky position to be in. I think you have a better chance of doing something if you let Jordan Rogers swing the bat than bunt, given that he's missed the first 2 attempts. I would not try to bunt here. And I probably wouldn't run Gabe Sotrace either because that runner on first base is now very important as the go-ahead run. Even if Jordan Rogers can't get him around, possibly Cody Jeffress or Ted Burton can. I would not risk getting him out in a double in a 2-out situation with maybe even a strikeout steal, throw out, whatever it is.
They're going to try and bunt again here on 0-2.
I do not like this.
Minarvik over at third base creeps in about even between third base and home plate. I think he's ready for it.
I do not like this.
Jordan Rogers bats 176, put down a beauty of a bunt yesterday. He pulls back and rolls one towards short.
It's an even worse situation.
A trick to Livermore and a pick over at first base by Markinson. A 6-4-3 double play.
And that was probably the worst case scenario for the Michigan Wolverines. Even if Jordan Rogers tried to bunt and miss and struck out, you at least would still have the runner on first base. But now grounding into a double play is probably the worst case scenario. And then Wolverines have to start from scratch with 2 outs and Cody Jeffress up at bat.
So the lineup card once again turns over. Cody Jeffress 0 for 3, 2 groundouts and a strikeout. Takes ball 1 from Jack Dyke. Takes a fastball for a strike. It's 1-1. So the bases are cleared. Back into the windup is Dyke with the 1-1. Line drive down the right field line. That's a fair ball. And it's fielded by Hrustich. Cody Jeffress has his first knock of the game.
Good work there by Cody Jeffress to get himself on the board with 2 outs, and you're going to bring up your best power hitter and Ted Burton, your most consistent hitter on this team, and possibly give your team the lead. I will just keep reminding you all, though, that with that out by Gabe Sotrace, now you still have 2 outs and only 1 runner on versus 1 out or even no outs and multiple runners on base for Ted Burton.
1 for 3 this afternoon for Ted. And that one hit, the home run. Back in the first inning. Michigan's been quiet since. 1 run in the bottom of the third, and that's it. There's the curveball from Jack Dyke.
And these Northwestern pitchers have really been attacking the inside part of the zone on Ted Burton. The last time around, Burton was fed a lot of inside curveballs and inside fastballs. You saw that first curveball inside again.
He pops one up behind home plate to make it 0-2.
Got him on the hands once again, so really attacking the
breaking ball
inside
again, too.
part. Ted Burton really not having as fast as hands that we're used to seeing from him. He should be able to recognize these inside fastballs, inside changeups, and try to turn on a little bit sooner than he has been.
Steep hole for Ted Burton at 0-2. 2-2 tie in Ann Arbor. The pitch, fastball high. Jeffress took off, then retreated to first base. They ran all over Cooper Ford yesterday. In the first 2 innings, the Wolverines stole 3 bags. Not as much today, not much traffic on the base paths. There goes Jeffress, swing and a miss. Down goes Ted Burton. He struck out for a second consecutive at-bat, and this time in his first battle with Jack Dyke, he goes down on strikes. 2-2 tie. We head to the 8th inning in Ann Arbor on your home for Michigan baseball. Knotted up at 2 from Ray Fisher Stadium in Ann Arbor. A bit of a sprinkle coming down on the Michigan faithful at the Wilpon Baseball Complex. What I consider one of the best views in collegiate baseball, the big house in right field spanning to right center, Chrysler Center in center field, Carroll Hutchins Stadium, newly named Alumni Field in left center. First pitch of the frame to Owen McGolfatrick is a swinging strike. Mitch Voigt back to work for the Maize and Blue.
McGolfatrick flied out to center field in the 3rd inning, ground out to first base in the 6th, so 0 for 2 on the day.
0-1 is lined into right field. Joey Velasquez does the Cupid shuffle in right center field to make the catch.
And you're seeing the wind really picking up now. You see all those flags at Carroll Hutchins Stadium, so nice work there by Joey Velasquez to read that ball. The line drive straight to him in right field for the first out of the inning.
Tony Livermore now. Lineup card flips over. Northwestern looking to steal one here in game 2 of this 3-game series with Michigan. First pitch from Voigt. Skied foul down the left field line past the Michigan bullpen for Jacob Denner. Who's the only Wolverine still, we'll say, up and loose for now. We've got a better view into the Michigan bullpen than we do into the Northwestern. The 0-1 from the freshman Voigt. Checked his swing. Did he go? Yes, sir, he did. Third base umpire Grady Smith called balls and strikes yesterday. Has a big old bruise on his right hand after taking a fastball right off his hand past the catcher gave Sotrace in yesterday afternoon's Michigan 12-5 victory.
It definitely hurts.
Oh, yeah. The 0-2. Swung on and tapped back to Voigt. Tried to backhand it behind his back. The shortstop, Jeffress, just in time. Got Livermore by half a step.
And if Voigt made any contact with that ball without it going in his glove, that probably would have been an infield hit. So nice work there by Jeffress to tag alongside Mitch Voigt and making that play, just beating the base runner by half a step.
And if he makes the play, you know what tune to play. Sports Center top 10 for Mitch Voigt. Just skipped past his glove. Here's Evan Minarvik, 0 for 3 this afternoon. First pitch to him, a big swinging strike. Let's take a look at the out-of-town scoreboard. Ohio State and UNC Greensboro rained out last night. Ohio State took game 1 of the doubleheader this morning, 6-1. Just about to get started with game 2, the 0-1 pitch. Another swing and a miss on a 92-mile-an-hour fastball from Mitch Voigt. Indiana ahead 13-3. A high-scoring series between the Hoosiers and Boilermakers. Tyler Kearney now in double-digit home runs to make that a 10-run lead for the Hoosiers. Foul ball off the glove of Sotrace. Iowa and Michigan State all tied up. The University of Iowa 5-5. Michigan State just tied it in the top of the 7th inning with the 2-run home run. Saw the Spartans here 2 weekends ago. Michigan won the series 2-1. The 0-2 is a breaking ball that bounces in to the former Michigan State Spartan, Gabe Sotrace.
And Minarvik, 3 strikeouts on the day, 0 for 3 with a 1-2 count here. Voigt's trying to make that a 4th. Check on 3 sliders. But he has not been able to catch up to Voigt's fastball either.
3-4-5 in the top of the 9th inning. If Mitch Voigt can get past Minarvik here, there was a fastball low and outside. Way out in the outside corner. Gabe Sotrace relays to Mitch Voigt's pitch com. On his left wrist, comes set in the stretch. Michigan shifts 3 to the left. Foul ball right side. Dylan Stanton, the new third baseman, fills in for Mitch Voigt after he shifted from the hot corner to the mound. Noah Renard got the start for Michigan. Cody Jeffress over there, Ted Burton over there, and Jack Vandermortel. About 10 full strides off the first base line playing first base. The 2-2. Checked his swing. Yes, sir, into the corner. That's a backwards K for Mitch Voigt. He gets the job done. Bottom 8, here we come from Ray Fisher Stadium in Ann Arbor. It's a 2-2 tie on your home for Michigan baseball. The score is 2-2 in what is now a rainy Ann Arbor, Michigan, Ray Fisher Stadium. First at bat coming for Dylan Stanton.
Stanton 179 this season, just 5 hits, 2 RBIs, no home runs. He has really been seeing the field when Mitch Voigt comes onto the mound in relief. So not many opportunities, but a big situation for him right now.
He bounces a ground ball left side. Tough play from McGoldrick on a backhand. Can't make the play. He stumbled over his own feet, and Dylan Stanton leads off the bottom of the 8th with a single.
That's a little bit what we saw yesterday, Zach, with the infield play by Northwestern, making a few mistakes here and there. That was one right there by McCultrick at shortstop. And Dylan Stanton gets an infield hit right now, but he'll come out for Jake Marty, who's going to pinch hit for him. It'll be interesting to see who then comes in at third base to replace Marty, because Marty is not a third base specialist.
Well, we'll have to see in the top of the 9th inning. For right now, Jake Marty in there to try and score. He will dive back into first base safely. So we know Jake Marty's awake. Joey Velasquez digs into the left-handed batter's box. Nobody out, runner on first base. Third baseman Menarvik plays in on the grass. Marty back in safely again. Touches the pillow with his right hand, wearing the base-running glove on his left. Joey Velasquez steps in, readjusts his batting helmet, taps the plate twice, and rests his DeMarini on his left shoulder. Up to the outside corner, fastball, strike one for Dyke.
And that was a little bit of a controversial call right there on the outside corner. That's been very 50-50 today. Seen a lot of strikes being called, but also a lot of balls being called, as we hear the Michigan fans getting a little rowdy now, saying, we didn't get that call last inning.
Pickoff move number 3 attempted towards Jake Marty. To no avail. 0-1 pitch to Velasquez. There's a fastball. That one's not going to be called a strike. Not even close. 3-run home run last Sunday for Joey Velasquez lifted Michigan to their only win of the Minnesota series. The 1-1. Marty on the move, swing and a miss. Throw down to second base is in time to catch Jake Marty.
Yeah, Jake Marty just fully overslid that second base right there. He's probably was tagged out before he even got to the base, but he came off of it too, so he had 2 chances to get tagged out there on the stolen base attempt. And just like last inning, when the Wolverines get a leadoff man on, their self-inflicted errors on the base paths.
Well, Velasquez ropes one foul way in front of it. Down the right field line, 1-2.
Velasquez with 2 extra base hits today too. Anytime he makes contact, definitely is a possibility for a big hit.
Michigan stole 3 bases yesterday against Cooper 4. Not going to get one here. Line drive right side. Nice play by the second baseman Livermore, and fires to first. He got short hopped in shallow right field, and he made a tremendous 360 turn to throw him out. Northwestern, they're buzzing right now. It's 2-2 tie.
Tito Flores comes up to the plate, 1 for 3 on the day, his strikeout, but he also had that really big double off the left field wall. Wolverines really need him to get something started with Jack Van Remortel in the on-deck circle.
First pitch to Tito Flores is a ball. The graduate of Brother Rice calls hometown Detroit. The 1-0. Takes a slider outside from Jack Dyke. 5 home runs on the season for Tito Flores. The last one came not too long ago on May 3rd against Kent State. 2-0 pitch. Inside, got a piece of him. Tito Flores will find first base. A 2-out hit by pitch. Jack Van Remortel will enter the batter's box.
Yeah, that one just got away from Jake Dyke right there. Completely got Tito Flores, I believe, on the arm somewhere. And now Jack Van Remortel comes up to the plate. He had a strikeout and a walk. 0 for 2 on the day in total. Looking to make something happen. An extra base hit could possibly score Tito with his speed at first base.
0 for 2, Jack Van Remortel. A bloop single into left center field. Tito Flores races around second. He'll head for third, and he'll be in there standing up. Runners on the corners, 2 away. Here comes the pitcher, Mitch Boyd.
Big hit there by Jack Van Mortal. We've seen his progressiveness all season long. He has come from really being one of those role players on this team to being the everyday starter and making these really big hits in prime time situations. All you need to do is move the carousel along. It's exactly what he did, putting Tito Flores in running and scoring position at third base and putting himself on first in the process.
Big opportunity for Michigan against Jack Dyke for Northwestern. One of his best appearances so far out of the pen for the Wildcats. So far has thrown 29 pitches, season high of 46 last Sunday against Indiana. He threw twice against the Hoosiers. Once on Friday, once on Sunday. And Mitch Voigt, 0 for 3 today. 3 for 5 yesterday, drove in a run. Dyke works the first base side of the rubber. Short leadoff at first base for Vandermortel. Not much of a leadoff for Flores. First pitch to Voigt. Takes ball one on a slider outside.
This is a big spot for the freshman. He does have 2 strikeouts on the day with the fly ball in the foul territory area to the first baseman. Solid contact right here would put the team in the lead.
When he pops one up high into left center field. Back goes Ferrer. Back goes Orno. Jack. Whoa, this ball's gone! Mitch Voigt, a 3-run blast to give Michigan a 5-2 lead. It just kept carrying and carrying, and the pitcher does it himself. He will stomp on home plate and celebrate with Vandermortel and Flores. And the Wolverines are out of the dugout to greet him.
Amazing work there by Mitch Voigt as we see the flagpole at Carroll Hutchins Stadium. The wind is blowing outwards out of the stadium. You're right. That ball off the bat looked like it was going to be a routine fly ball in left center field, but that ball kept carrying and went over the left center field wall for the 3-run shot. And just like that, the Wolverines blew the doors open out of this game, and Northwestern really only has one extra chance to get back into this one.
First pitch to Gabe Sotrace, misses low and outside. It's 5-2 Wolverines. How about that? 2 for 3 on the day for Sotrace. Only the 3rd home run allowed this season for Dyke. Sotrace takes slider for strike 1. First home run allowed by the Northwestern right-hander since April 11th, over a month. 1-1, fastball outside. I mean, that ball from Mitch Voigt just carried and carried. It did not get waterlogged by the slight sprinkle in the air. And Ferrer and Arnon seem to be running forever. Down the first base line, Sotrace sees it fall just foul.
You're completely right.
Run.
I did not believe that ball was getting out of this ballpark when he swung that bat. It looked like he had a little too much arc to it, but that ball was just carrying with the wind. And he was able to put his team up front, helping himself out as Sotrace just gets plunked.
Well, if you're going to get hit, that's likely one of the spots you'd like to get hit. So the inning was extended on a Tito Flores hit by pitch. And I think that's going to be the end of the day for Jack Dyke, as here comes Jim Foster. A slow walk down to first base for Sotrace. And Northwestern will go to the bullpen. So you're right, Jake. Doors blown open a bit here in the bottom of the 8th inning. Michigan a 3-run edge. We will meet the new Northwestern right-hander when we come back on your home for Michigan baseball. A 397-foot home run for Mitch Boyd. And Jake, that number out in center field, it reads 395. That's how close it was to not being a home run, but it was in the deepest part of left center field. And the freshman Mitch Boyd, with his 7th home run of the season, gets the job done. New pitcher for Northwestern this afternoon. It's their 3rd arm of the day. It's David Utagawa.
We were just discussing that ball off Mitch Boyd's bat was 102 miles an hour. If we had known that from when he hit that ball, then obviously, yes, that it has a great shot of getting out of the ballpark. Utagawa on the mound from Phoenix, Arizona, the junior.
Jordan Rogers steps in and takes fastball for strike 1.
In 22 innings pitched, he's a 7.77 ERA, 18 strikeouts, 7 walks. Most recently, he has put up 4 scoreless appearances against Rutgers, Michigan State, and Indiana.
Rogers takes ball 1, this one at 94 miles an hour off the arm of Utagawa.
There's a lot of heat, too. That was 94 miles an hour there, so we haven't really seen that out of these Northwestern pitchers yet to this point.
The 1-1, a check over to first base on Gabe Sotrace, who was hit by a fastball from Jack Dyke, and that was the day. Last time that Utagawa was used was this past Sunday against Indiana. Rogers will take strike 2. This one at 93. He was used in back-to-back days and only threw a combined 1 inning. No runs allowed. He walked just 1. Threw 4 pitches on Saturday, threw 13 on Sunday. An efficient 2 outings. Rogers pokes one foul right side. It's 1-2. A bilingual David Utagawa speaks 3 languages: English, Swedish, and Spanish. Can you do any of these that we're reading right now? He plays the drums, the ukulele, guitar, and the piano.
My brother is a good drummer.
The 1-2 swung on and missed by Rogers, but he will race down the first baseline. Ford throws to first base. Oh, the first base umpire, Daniel Jimenez. I think he motioned safe, and then he double clutched himself and called him out.
I personally
Tracy
believe
Smith go out there is the question. He will not. I think he will be comfortable with his 3-run lead and give Michigan a chance to win this ball game in the top of the 9th inning. 5-2 Michigan lead after the Mitch Boyd home run on your home for Michigan baseball. Final chances for Northwestern in game 2 of this 3-game series between the Wildcats and Wolverines. Mitch Boyd, right now playing hero for the Wolverines, is back on the mound. A 3-run home run, which seemed like a simple fly ball into left center field, had carry forever. We look out to the American flag in left center field. We look beyond that into Carroll Hutchins Stadium where Michigan plays softball. The wind is blowing out towards left center, but little did we think that ball would go out of the park. Alex Calarco steps in and takes strike 1 from Mitch Boyd.
a few defensive changes for you all, too. Brandon Lawrence coming in at third base. Jake Marty comes in at center field. And Jordan Rogers will come in at right field. So those are a few of the changes for the top of the 9th inning.
The 0-1 pitch perfectly in the outside corner. It's 0-2. Michigan looking to take this series from a struggling Northwestern team. Their record at 8-36. Michigan at 25-23. Tomorrow's game will be number 50 on the season for the Maize and Blue. The 0-2. Fastball high. He reached back for 93 there. Freshman from Whitefish Bay, Wisconsin. Entered fresh off the press at third base. Tracy Smith made the change, put Dylan Stanton at third base. Now Brandon Lawrence is over there, the 1-2 outside. Another fastball at 93. The last winning decision for Mitch Voigt came all the way back in March. Seems like forever ago. March 27th, Central Michigan. In the 6-5 win over the Chips. Fastball high. Alex Clarko batting from the left side is 0 for 3. His day consists of a strikeout in the first, a ground out to first base, and a line out to first base. Right at Jack Vandermortel 2 different times. He's climbed back in the count. It's 3-2. Delivery from Voigt. Fastball is spoiled off behind home plate. A combined 1 of 7 in the series for Calarco. Infield plays back. Shortstop and second baseman Jeffress and Burton are in the grass. They now creep towards the third portion of the infield. A swing and a miss. Down he goes. 1 out here in the 9th inning.
Great job there by Mitch Voigt, just to battle back. Count was worked to full, but he stayed into himself. He had really nice control there, and he trusted his speed, that 93-mile-an-hour fastball. A lot of college baseball hitters cannot catch up to that, and he relied on that speed to get the first out of the top of the 9th inning.
Stephen Hrustich for the Wildcats. First pitch swinging, fouling it back behind home plate. You know what we haven't seen much today, Jake? Is the foul balls into the parking lot.
We have not.
Not one. That's rare.
That is very rare.
Okay, we'll say that in this pitch right here. 1-1, a fastball high.
Knowing our luck, you would give it the announcer's jinx. The parking
I
lots.
have always refused to park.
Oh, it's I don't know
I'm
anybody who
within walking
knows.
distance, so I don't have to park.
I think it's ludicrous if anyone parks their car anywhere near the baseball field.
1-1. Fouled off behind home plate again. This one clears the top portion of the overhang right above Jake Singer and I. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Stephen Hrustich has been a thorn in the side of the Wolverines in this series with 4 hits. 3 of them being of the extra base variety. The 1-2 from Voigt. Popped down the left field line. That should be extra bases again. 1 hop off the wall. Flores loses his cap. The throw into second base. Hrustich quickly retreats back to first. A beautiful angle from Tito Flores taking on that fly ball to left. That was in on the hands, and he just wrapped around it.
Definitely, that was all in Tito Flores' arm. Really nice angle, fielding that ball off of the left field wall, but also an even better throw straight to Ted Burton at second base, and it forced Hrustich to retreat back to first, and that could be a really big moment right there here in the 9th inning with Markinson up.
Double play still in order. Michigan leads by 3. It's 5-2. The pitch from Voigt. Right towards second base. He climbs up to make the catch. The throw to first. This game's over. What a play by Ted Burton at second base.
I said that stoppage of running back to first base was going to come back to the Northwestern Wildcats and bite them. And it did. Amazing, amazing defensive play there by Ted Burton, climbing all the way up the ladder. And
he just took a stab at it at second base. Hard off the bat of Bennett Markinson. And like you said, Ted Burton climbs the ladder, makes a fantastic catch, and stuck right there in his tracks. Stephen Hrustich.
Plays like that make me really miss playing this game.
Oh, yeah. Final score, Michigan 5, Northwestern 2. We will be back for a recap in just a few moments on your home for Michigan baseball. Wrapping things up from Ray Fisher Stadium here in Ann Arbor, Michigan has won the first two ball games of the series with the Northwestern Wildcats, the visitors from Evanston, Illinois. A final score of 5-2 on a beautiful play by second baseman Ted Burton to not only take extra bases away from Bennett Markinson, but also to throw out Stephen Harustich at first base after what also likely should have been a double for him. But a wonderful play by Tito Flores in left field gives Michigan a 5-2 lead as they have taken the first two here in the series. Jake, what stood out to you today? What gave Michigan this win in game two?
It was really the big hits by this Michigan offense. They only won 5-2, but those 5 runs were all hard earned. Ted Burton started off the scoring with his home run in the first inning. Velasquez had a double and a triple in this game too, and obviously the the big one by Mitch Voigt all the way there in the 8th inning for the 3-run home run to take the lead right there. That paired with the very consistent pitching by this Michigan team today. They only had to use two pitchers, and Noah Renard and Mitch Voigt, both of which you usually don't see a lot of production, at least from the starting stands of things. So being able to go through these last 2 games and only going through 4 total pitchers for the Michigan Wolverines really sticks out to me for tomorrow's final game of the series.
Has yet to be seen who will get the ball tomorrow, but we kind of figure that Chase Allen might be the starter for Michigan after Jacob Denner was getting up and getting loose for a few moments when Noah Renard was still on the mound. Let's take a look at Michigan's starting pitcher today, 6 2/3, 6 hits, 2 earned runs, 2 walks, 6 strikeouts. Sam Garwal was pretty good himself for Northwestern, sets a career high in strikeouts with 10 over 92 pitches, 5 1/3, 5 hits, 2 earned runs, and he only walked 2. The bullpen for Northwestern was also superb up until that 3-run home run allowed by Dyke. He went 2 1/3 with 5 hits, 3 earned runs, all coming on the bomb for Mitch Voigt, 2 strikeouts. But he hit 2 batters, and that extended the inning, which allowed Mitch Voigt to end up coming to the plate after the single by Vanner Mortal, and that was that. Michigan wins it 5-2. Jake, final thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, this team is really getting to that latter part of the season. Obviously, as you said, all these series they're going to be playing after this one are winnable series, but they need to do the things they continuously do to win these games. No game is taken for granted. All these teams are beatable, but also you're beatable yourself. So being able to win 2 games against this Northwestern team that doesn't really have many wins on the season really bodes well going forward in the season, and obviously will set up a really exciting end of the season too.
Northwestern drops to 8-37. Michigan to 26-23. Michigan now a conference record of 12-8. Northwestern, they were already eliminated from Big Ten tournament contention in that 8-team tournament. They are now 3-17 in Big Ten play. Couple games to keep your eyes on tonight: Minnesota at Maryland, Illinois at Rutgers, both at 6 o'clock, and then your very common start time of 7:02 for Penn State at Nebraska. Keep your eyes on that one, folks. Michigan and Nebraska entered today tied for 5th place at 11-8. Final score here: Michigan wins it 5-2 over the visitors from Evanston, the Northwestern Wildcats. For myself, Zach Linfield, and my good partner today, Jake Singer, we leave you with a good night and a go blue from Ray Fisher Stadium in Ann Arbor.